This is the story of how I took on the supermarkets and tried to make them change the production of our favourite meat, chicken.
I didn't say anything. Please didn't store. Thrown out of Tesco.
I believed that if people could see how cheap chicken is produced, they'd stop buying it. And to prove my point, I set up my own intensive chicken farm.
Fucking stink.
But I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
I really don't want to kill another bird this morning.
Now, I was about to find out if it had all been worth it.
I am challenging you, Axminster, to be the first free-range town in Britain.
To succeed, I'd have to persuade 6,000 people to change the shopping habits of a lifetime.
Hello, ladies. How was Tesco today?
It's not going to happen, is it? It's not going to change.
Support Axminster, support free-range chicken. No?
It was day 36 at my experimental chicken farm. It was a farm of two halves, and on the free-range side, the birds were charging out of the pop holes every morning, ready to make the most of their freedom. But over on the intensive side of the shed, life was very different. These birds were now only 3 days away from slaughter, and they were looking bloated and ungainly.
It's hard to even look at an individual bird. It's just like a mass of white now.
I was finding our daily inspection for lame birds harder to deal with.
It's just an act job. Sorry? It's an acting job.
It seemed a waste of a life to kill a bird just days from the end of the cycle.
If you want to take the weight of this leg...
So that is a cold bird.
That's a cold bird. That bird to me today is no longer going to be in the flock.
But for this bird, a quick death was clearly a better option than 3 more days in the shed.
What animal of any kind would want to live in here? This is 95% of the chicken that we're eating in this country. Okay, so some people are on a tight budget and the bargain chicken is a great bargain, but I mean, millions of people could afford to eat a free-range bird, yet they're choosing this. I don't know how to get this through the fucking telly and into people's living rooms. This is horrible.
Time was running out for my chickens, and also for my campaign to convert my town to free range.
Hi there. How are you doing?
I needed a focus and a target, and so I hit on the idea of Chicken Out Week. The aim was that for one well-publicised week, more than 50% of the chickens sold in Axminster would be free range.
Basically, it all starts with a commitment from the consumer.
But in Axminster, like everywhere else in the country, less than 3% of the chicken sold is free range. So I knew my 50% target was a big ask.
It's elitist, isn't it? A lot of people can't afford free range.
Well, you say that, but how much do you expect a chicken to be?
It's how much people are used to paying for them.
Well, that's the problem. That the reason they're used to paying that is because they've been abused and they've been treated very badly.
Yeah, but a lot of the population choose not to think like that.
Absolutely, but those are the ones. I'm trying to get people to think about it. If having thought about it, they decide they can't afford it, well then that's their choice.
Then it's guilt trippy.
I can't help that, can I?
No, but it is.
I can't help it.
It is guilt trippy.
While I fought the battle on the street, poultry stockman John Kirkpatrick opened the doors of our chicken farm to the people of Axminster. It was time to show them just how their 2 for a fiver chickens are produced.
So this basically is standard price. Doesn't take Tesco finance their 2 for £5.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? I'd never buy a standard chicken again.
I hoped that faced with this reality head-on, people would change their chicken buying habits. And the effect on many was instant conversion.
Well, I think people that haven't been to somewhere like this don't appreciate this to the actual chicken they see in Tesco's and then ending up on their plate.
But for some, even when staring it cold in the face, chicken welfare still came second to the compelling issue of price.
Would you buy it now?
I would.
A family has got to have so much money to spend. You've now half in that. If you want to go free range, you've got to half that.
I was beginning to realise that there were some people who would never change. But at the end of a week of farm visits, I'd recruited a committed posse of campaign volunteers.
Please remember that it only really kicks off from here, and it's what we can do in the next 2 weeks that really counts.
Back at the farm, my free rangers had a while to go yet before they reached their slaughter weight. But the faster-growing intensive birds had already reached theirs. After 39 days of near constant eating, it was time for John to lift the feeders. The birds have to be starved for 8 hours so that they go to slaughter with a clean gut. At 2 a.m. their time was finally up. These were the catchers who would grab the chickens and load them into the crates. Inside, the lights had been dimmed and covered in blue gel to help keep the birds calm.
I haven't been in here during their sleepy time, but you know, they do huddle up and have a bit of a quiet time. So they're not going to be calm for long. From the moment they arrived here, they were destined to leave here at 39 days to become meat, and that's what's now going to happen in the next 24 hours.
As the catchers started their job, I felt I was part of a clandestine operation. But this is how birds are caught, whether they're free-range or intensive. Some 850 million birds a year are slaughtered in Britain. These were just a couple of thousand. But I hope they'd be significant as agents for change. As my birds went off to the slaughterhouse, I was glad that this part of the experiment, at least, was over.
Never again. Never again. 39 days never to be repeated.
In the end, the way a chicken dies is the same whether it's intensive or free range. They're hung upside down on a conveyor belt, stunned in an electrified bath, before being bled to death by having their necks cut. A couple of weeks from now, our free rangers would meet the same fate. The vital difference is, of course, not in the way they die, but in the way they live. And that's determined by the choice we make every time we buy a chicken. I'd personally arranged the life and death of these birds, and I hoped that it wouldn't be in vain.
Hi there. Would you put one of my posters up in your window?
I was gearing up for Chicken Out Week in Axminster, and my target was that at least half the chickens sold in town would be free range.
Do you know about Chicken Out Week in Axminster?
No.
Do you live in town?
I do, yeah.
On top of the local mission, I was trying to speak to the supermarkets about chicken welfare on a national level. But for months, I'd been getting nowhere.
Don't want to meet at all. Asda simply haven't replied. Morrison's complete radio silence.
The biggest of them all, Tesco, had been stringing me along all summer.
But Joe, you know, this is a backtrack. You did verbally offer me that date for an interview. You did say.
But finally, a breakthrough with Sainsbury's.
Pushing on an open door, that's the sort of phrase I like to hear.
I had an idea for an in-store experiment that would force customers to confront the reality of the chicken they were buying.
Judith, nice to meet you.
Hi Judith, we talked on the
And
phone.
finally, the senior buying team from Sainsbury's was ready to talk to me about it.
I would like to see in the chill cabinet of a supermarket some screens with a little bit of looped video.
I wanted them to show video footage of both the free-range and intensive systems right by the chill cabinet, so that customers could see how their chickens had been reared before making a choice.
That's the only way people will understand.
Agree with you. The only way to do that is to show them. And I think we would be very happy to look at that with you.
We're going to make that happen. You've been absolutely. Well, that's very exciting.
Finally, a supermarket prepared to come clean with their customers about how chicken is produced.
Great.
But back in Axminster, Tesco was still Tesco, the biggest supermarket in town. And to make any impact on the 6,000 local shoppers, I needed this store to promote, or at least acknowledge, my campaign.
If people are walking in and out of Tesco not knowing anything about our campaign, then Chicken Out Week doesn't exist. It's a waste of time.
One look at the chill cabinet and I could see what I was up against.
Well over 100 standard birds there. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 free-range birds. That's it. What I want for Chicken Out Week here in Tesco next week is that more than half of all the chicken sold is free-range. That's a massive swing. And if this was an election, I wouldn't even be a Liberal Democrat. I'd be screaming Lord Such and I'd lose my deposit. A monster raving loony, that's what I feel like at the moment. Hi there. Martin.
I had to try and get some posters up, fast.
We're putting these posters up. It's very, very simple. Free-range chicken on sale here, supporting Chicken Out Week in Axminster, October the 1st to 6th, and then our Chicken Out chicken. Is there a few places around the store? That wouldn't be a bad spot. That sort of thing. It's only for a week. What do you think?
Yeah, right, we'll do that.
If there's any flat space anywhere near the till cabinet, it looks quite nice backlit.
Have you got a bigger one? I'll tell you what I can do. I've got a bigger one up on the ceiling.
Deputy Manager Martin was being most accommodating. He promised to put more free-range chickens on the shelves and even agreed to give me his sales figures so I could monitor the success of the campaign.
Thank you very much. See you around next week. Cheers, Martin.
With Tesco on side, things were looking up. But if I wanted to call Axminster a free-range town, I'd have to tackle all the places where you can buy chicken. Pubs, restaurants, and above all, takeaways.
Are you Musa?
Yeah.
That is not a very happy-looking chicken.
Which one?
That one. That would have been about 25 days old.
I don't know.
That would be my guess.
Musa was highly skeptical about my free-range kebab plan.
Well, you know, like Friday and Saturday, 2 o'clock in the morning, and he said to me, "Oh, free, I want free." It's like
you think it's unlikely? You think the 2 o'clock in the morning crowd don't want free range? You never know. You never know. Can I do some research?
I have to see the price first.
I'll get back to you.
All right.
I wondered if the customers at the local Indian restaurant would be more engaged with the issue.
Hello, Sam. No one's ever asked if your chicken's free range. Never. Really?
Apparently not. But Sam agreed to put a free-range option on every chicken dish on the menu during Chicken Out Week.
Lovely to see you.
And at the Chippy, Anne also decided to give it a go, putting free-range fried chicken on her menu for the whole week.
Fantastic. Okay. Thanks, Sam.
Nice
Great to see you.
So Axminster's chicken eaters would have a free-range choice wherever they turned. Back at the farm, the free-rangers were now into their last week, and my plan was to use some of them to supply the town with any extra chicken needed for the campaign. But John told me that a few of the birds had picked up a bug, and I was beginning to see that the free-range system isn't always the sunny side of the street.
You know, these birds are, they're exposed to the elements. They're out here picking through soil, they're picking through everything out on pasture there, and some of them pick up disease.
So on the free-range system, the price you pay for a natural life to be able to come outside is a risk of picking up some disease and a risk that some of these birds just won't do as well as others.
As a result of the bug, a few of the free rangers had lost condition, and John felt they needed to be culled. But as I wandered around my flock for the last time, there was still no doubt in my mind which system was better for the birds.
Just look at these birds out here, just look at them. Outdoors, scratching around in the grass, doing what chickens want to do. I'm surer than I ever have been that this is the right way to look after chickens, and what we did in the end of that shed is not acceptable.
The following night, after 56 days on the farm, my free rangers went off to slaughter.
Last two?
With no birds left, I could no longer take people to my experimental farm, but I could still take my farm to the people. I'd made a film about the very different lives of the two types of chicken on my farm, so I could play it in places around town. He'll never set foot outside or see the sun. I wanted everyone buying chicken in Chicken Out Week to be making their choice based on a full understanding of how the different birds are produced. Vote for a free-range future.
But most of the people in Axmouth cannot afford it. We're on such poor wages. I mean, the average wage in this town is about £12,000 if they're lucky.
If you're that bothered about a fucking chicken, then don't eat the fucking twatting thing then. All become vegetarians, simple as that.
It's just not going to happen. Actually, it ain't.
On 96.4 FM, online and on DAB Digital.
Today was the first day of Chicken Out Week, and I wanted to make sure that everyone knew about it.
Monday, and we are urging everybody who's shopping in Axmouth for this week, if they're buying chicken, to make it free range. That applies whether you're going into Tesco to get your chicken, or perhaps you're going to Complete Meats, the excellent local butcher. He's got free-range chickens in there. Everybody's taking part, because we want Axminster to be Britain's first free-range town.
8 out of the 12 places in town with chicken on their menu had decided to offer a free-range option.
Hey, Rufus, how are you doing? Free-range chicken just in.
And having delivered my free-range birds to the takeaways, I couldn't resist a quick snoop where I knew the sales figures mattered most.
Well, this is pretty pathetic. Cheap chicken, cheap chicken, cheap chicken, cheap chicken, cheap chicken, cheap chicken, cheap chicken. Some free-range chicken pieces. More cheap chicken, cheap chicken, cheap chicken, cheap chicken, and a little bit of free-range and organic. Where's my sign? He said he was going to put a sign up. I mean, does Tesco give a fuck? Not really. Do they? I don't know. I mean, Martin! Hello there. Hi, where are my lovely signs?
You didn't look like, forgot.
Yeah?
One there, one there, one there, one front story, one there corner.
Right. But does it not really interest you at all, this campaign? Personally?
One there, that's on there.
How are people supposed to know what's going on? Well, I think you have the answer there, don't you?
Don't swear, mate. They did store. They did store. Okay, you're not saying.
I didn't say anything.
They did store.
I didn't say anything of the sort. I certainly didn't swear. Martin, can I just assure you, I did not swear at you. I absolutely didn't. Thrown out of Tesco on the first morning of Chicken Out Week. How good is that? I think something very unfortunate happened there, which is, as he walked away, I turned around and said, well, there's your answer, in terms of Tesco's level of cooperation. And I think he thought I said arsehole, which I didn't. Because he then came back to me and said, don't call me an arsehole, which is very unfortunate. And might have got Chicken Out Week in Tesco off to a pretty bad start. And it got worse. When I turned up at the co-op, news came through that their PR department wasn't happy. They won't let us in. We're not allowed into the co-op at all today. No filming. Verboten. And the reason they've given, bizarrely, is because they haven't sold a single free-range chicken. It's turning into a farce. With my campaign falling apart around me, it was a welcome relief to get back to the Millway estate. The one part of the experiment I really felt was working. This gang of supermarket shoppers had spent a summer taking care of their own chickens.
He's got a little character, that chicken. He comes and says hello, doesn't he? Yeah.
It was clear that they had bonded with them and now looked beyond the bargain labels on the supermarket shelf.
How are you doing?
Not too bad, you?
Good.
If anything, I worried that they had become too attached, and I wondered whether they would be able to see the journey through to the end.
No, I mean, they've done incredibly well. You know, I think the time has come, really. Well, my suggestion is that we slaughter them for Sunday lunch.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear Jane. I know it's tricky.
This is going to be the poignant moment for me, is actually doing the whole circle.
Yeah.
And then it becomes your food, and it's all about the husbandry side of things.
We have got to that point now when we're thinking about why we started this, and it was to raise some birds really well so that you could eat them, hopefully taste the best chicken you've ever tasted, and then take forward that into the way you think about chicken in the future.
We'd come this far together,
Let's not forget that that was the plan.
and I hoped that the final reckoning wasn't going to put them off eating chicken altogether.
Hello ladies, how was Tesco today? If you're buying any chicken this week, will you think about making it free range?
Definitely.
As persona non grata at my local Tesco, I was back on the street on the campaign trail.
No? Do you think you might be buying chicken this week?
I bought it yesterday.
Did you? At Tesco?
Yes.
And it wasn't free range, was it?
No, it was the cheap stuff, unfortunately.
Excuse me, sir, can I give you a leaflet regarding free-range chickens?
Claire from Millway had found some time to help me, but she wasn't having much luck either.
Hello, can I give you a leaflet regarding free-range chickens?
No, thank you. If it's anything to do with Hugh, what's his name, his prices are far too high.
From his shop.
It seemed that word on the street was less about the miserable conditions of intensely farmed birds and more about the extortionate prices I was apparently charging for chicken in the River Cottage shop.
Somebody that I know went in and there was one for £18 something.
£20 was what I heard for a chicken. Well, I don't know that I'd go out and pay £20 for a chicken.
Why in the world would anybody pay £22 for a chicken?
Its prices are too dear for this town. I mean, it's not an upmarket town, Axminster.
Some people were putting it about that my campaign was just an excuse for some shameless self-promotion.
You know, it's tempting to put a sign on the door saying, please don't buy your chickens here, go and get a free-range chicken at Tesco. Because that's where the count is being made that matters to Axminster on the Tesco sales figures.
I was proud of the organic and free-range birds I was selling, but with wild rumours about the prices I was charging for them spiralling out of control, my campaign was seriously dividing the town.
But you get some guys to come down here and think, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, do that, charge this amount of prices. You don't do it. You can't do it.
I won't support in his organic thing, no, definitely not. Definitely not. I think he's basically a con man.
And it wasn't just the price of chickens I was copping the blame for.
On the front page of today's paper, I'm being blamed for the Axminster housing crisis. Fucking great. Our youngsters are not going to have a chance, and it's my fault.
Perhaps this was not the ideal time to broadcast my message to the nation.
Well, once upon a time, the town of Axminster was associated with one thing and one thing only, carpets. But one man is trying to change all that. Hugh family, with all his river cottages in the area, wants to turn Axminster into Britain's first free-range town. Pretty ambitious then, really. Where do you start?
Well, you start in a nice small country town like Axminster. It's a fantastic town. It's a traditional old market town.
Are you seriously anticipating that you can wean some 6,000 residents off their supermarket habits?
Well, it's certainly a challenge. But if we take a little bit of time to have a chat with them, explain what the issues are, and very quickly they start to understand what's at stake, and they do want to be a part of it.
But it's also quite a good way of plugging your own business, really, and your own fortune.
No, I don't think that's true at all. I mean, we are very clear. We don't mind where people get their chickens from, and for many people the best option for a free-range chicken is their local supermarket.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed.
Good. I feel sick. I feel sick because I'm building up to the potential announcement that I think we've got good reason to call Axminster Britain's first free-range town. And right now, 2 days before the end of Chicken Out Week, it's not happening. I mean, right now, if I stood up in Axminster now and said, hey, well done, Axminster, you are Britain's first free-range town, I'd be a big, fat, fucking hypocrite. It's just not true. It isn't happening. Okay, Jane.
All right.
I'm half a sandwich born. Is that going to stay there?
Yeah, I think that'll be all
Going to
right.
work?
Yeah.
Come and meet the kids.
The success of my Chicken Out campaign was always going to depend on what happened at my local Tesco. I'd been thrown out of the store at the beginning of the week, but I hadn't, as far as I could tell, been barred for good.
Hi guys. How you doing? Good to see you all.
Good to see you too.
Okay, what does Tesco stand for?
Hello everyone, shout Chicken Out.
Right, that's brilliant. Let's go.
Hugh, are we going to get banned for Tesco's forever?
Yeah, no, let's go.
So, with the help of some youthful supporters from the Axe Valley College, we set about tackling the evening shoppers with our messages of chicken liberation.
If two of you stand there like that, and you do the leaflet thing, hi there, how are you doing? Can I give you one of those?
Can you make sure it's free range?
Yeah, I'll be recorded as a vote in favour of free range.
With only 3 days of Chicken Out week left, I needed all the help I could get. So I was delighted when some of the Millway gang turned up to show support.
Do you normally buy chicken? I think if you saw how the cheap ones were produced, I don't think you'd go back there.
Hello, Dave. Are you looking at buying a chicken this week? Probably 80 pence more a chicken. 80 pence. Right, Dave? Well, hey, free-range chicken breast.
The only thing is that I don't think there's money left on the shelf now.
That's good though, isn't it?
Well, no, because nobody can buy it.
Well, it's good that they're being, hopefully they'll stock them up overnight and there'll be lots more tomorrow.
Yeah. If you could just consider it, that would be great.
Yep, that's right.
Things were going well outside Tesco, but not so good up at the kebab shop. I delivered some of my free-range chicken, but Musa was refusing to put it on the menu.
Everybody likes to eat free-range chicken, but its price is too much different, you know. $5.50 is my large chicken kebab. I sell like free-range chicken, that be like £15 because it's £8 a kilo.
He'd written off free-range as too expensive, but he'd got his maths completely wrong.
So that's double, so I'm going to pay for a chicken sandwich £6.80. Yeah. You're going to go out of business.
Exactly, you know.
This wasn't the kind of PR I'd had in mind. The kebab shop experiment was backfiring badly.
So many people in Africa is dying about they can't find any food. Here, just people try and get the free-range chicken. That's a stupid thing to do.
Yeah.
On the Millway allotment, Dave was letting the chickens out for the last time.
I mean, I know when these birds came in, we knew that they were going to go one day, but the one day just seems to have come round so quickly. You know, it's like when you wake up in the morning, you look at the alarm clock and you think, oh, I've got another quarter of an hour. And you look at it again, you've got another 10 minutes before the alarm goes off, and their alarm goes off tomorrow, doesn't it? Poor old Chuffy. But at least they've had a nice life. We fed them and we've given them stuff when they've been ill. They're like your kids. And now you feel as though, yeah, you've got to go to see how the final bit is played out.
I'd arranged to meet the Millway gang early the next morning at River Cottage HQ. Nigel, who slaughters River Cottage poultry for me, was ready with his mobile slaughter kit.
Alright, here we go. That's bird.
They'd looked after and nurtured these birds, and now, by witnessing their slaughter, the cycle would be complete.
Alright there. Okay, got him. Yep.
It's a quick, efficient process. The bird is given an electric shock, which immediately renders it unconscious.
Completely unconscious.
And then it's bled to death.
Okay.
Okay,
so I'll take that one into the plucking trailer.
Yep.
Herman wanted a hands-on experience through to the end.
That's it. There, that's it.
Hold on, all right.
Yeah. And down. Press, yeah, go. Release your hand.
Well done. Excellent. Alright, happy with that?
I don't feel uncomfortable with it. I thought I was going to. This has changed my whole outlook on chicken now. Because I know these have been done humanely, they've had a life, full cycle, and I just think this is what it's all about, husbandry.
The hardest bit was to come. Against my advice, Dave and Jane had named their favourite bird. And now, Chuffy's time was up. What are you thinking, Dave? Do you want to give it a go?
Yeah, I'd like to do Chuffy.
Really? You want to do him yourself? Okay.
We got too attached.
Yeah. And then, I mean, that's the difficult art of stockmanship and good husbandry. You should be there taking care of the animals. You should be taking an interest in their behaviour. You should be enjoying them. But at the same time, you've just got to keep an eye on what it's about, which is food.
Can you take them over?
Yeah, that's right, go on. Are you ready? Here we go.
Okay. So,
On the survey, Dave.
did it feel a little bit heavier that one?
Yeah, it's definitely, these are good sized birds.
Yeah.
Just open your mouth, please. Straight in.
Go on,
A
push.
little bit further.
Push.
Right, now go for it. All right.
There you go. Count to 4.
That's it, you've got it. Well done. Stop.
Okay.
Well done, Dave. That was very well done.
Take the crocodile clip off.
Okay.
Do you want to stick in, or shall I do it?
No, can you do it?
Yeah.
Please.
Sure?
Well done, Dave.
All right.
Well, mate, that took a lot for you to do that. Well done.
And we're going to mark this because this is the one you're going to take home as well. Yeah.
Right.
I felt proud of the Millway gang and how far they'd come over the last couple of months. Soon they would all tuck into a bird they had raised themselves. And I hoped that they'd never look at a 2 for a £5 chicken in the same way again. Meanwhile, back in takeaway land, Moosa's maths was doing my head in. £2 more.
No, 2 pounds.
Yeah.
4 pounds, 25 more.
No, hang on. I had to make him see that he really didn't need to charge £15 a kebab. So the extra cost of this chicken in your kebab is £2.50. You look very sceptical. You don't believe me. You don't accept that. Because let's get the spice in here, or we're never going to have we're never going to have a free range kebab if we don't get the spice in. We'd never agree on the maths, but we did agree, finally, to make some free-range kebabs. Dressed in Moosa's secret marinade of garlic, salt, turmeric, lemon juice, tomato paste, and a good slosh of vegetable oil.
Nasty worker.
Anyone want a free-range kebab? They're ready to go.
Chicken kebab isteyenlere free range or normal chicken.
Outside, Herman was poised to tackle the customers.
Coming in this establishment, may I have your work? Can I have a moment of your time?
Inside, armed with my chicken film, I was hoping to enlighten Moosa and sway his punters at the point of sale. Have a look at this film. That's how your standard birds live, like that. Excuse me, you want to come and have a look at this? Tells you about the difference between the chickens. Come on, Moosa, have a look. That's your standard chicken there. That's how it lives. Moosa was clearly having none of it. Do you want to see how your chicken kebabs were produced? That could be the very bird. But the free-range footage seemed to be grabbing the attention of his customers.
Yeah, free-range is fine.
This couple came here for a free-range kebab. Because the word is out, Moosa, that it's free-range here tonight. That's what you came here for, isn't it? Large or small?
Can I have a small one? Free-range chicken kebab and sauce salad.
Before we knew it, we'd sold a dozen free-range kebabs, and the reviews were already coming back off the street.
I just had a comment from one of your customers just a minute ago. Andy, who came in with his wife, and they had one which was free range, and they had the standard, and Andy said the free range was far juicier, far tastier, and next time he comes back, he's going to be wanting to buy one of your free range chicken kebabs. Job done.
Excellent.
Did you hear that?
I didn't think I'd made a long-term convert out of Musa, but at least I'd got some of his customers excited about free range. There was certainly a lot of chicken going down around town, and for the Millway gang, dinner was the very birds they'd raised and slaughtered themselves. Dave and Jane had a Millway bird, but it wasn't their beloved Chuffy.
He's nestled in the freezer for Christmas. Right, this is it.
Yeah, you can go first.
It's really tender. It's nice. I just don't want people to buy chickens that have led a miserable life in those barns.
For Herman and Maria, this was a family moment to be savoured.
Here comes the first taste. That's good. That is really good.
It's really nice and it's quite like tender.
Definitely wouldn't think twice about spending a couple of extra pound on a free range one. I don't think we'd do the 2 for £5 now in a million years, would we?
And Andrea, who didn't know the difference between free range and standard chicken a month ago, was now a fully fledged chicken activist.
As I've learned, you can make use of the whole chicken, not just the breast.
So why don't you pressure the supermarkets into bringing their prices down for free range chicken?
Well, this is what this week's all about,
right.
to see how many people we can get to buy free range, so that the supermarkets can see that there is an interest in free range, and then the prices will come down.
Do you buy free range chickens at all?
No.
No.
Fired up by their own experiences, the Millway gang had become true allies to my cause.
Excuse me, you got a minute?
They were out on the streets using my box of chicks to show the public how cheap chicken is produced.
17 chickens, that's how many they allow per square metre.
That is terrible, isn't it?
It's horrible, isn't it? You know, are we a nation of animal lovers?
Supposed to be, aren't we?
Does it look like it?
They're fed all around the clock, so they can eat them plump. That's really not fair on the chickens, so why do people do that? Money, really. That's all it is, really.
And our campaigning was beginning to pay off.
Free range chicken they want.
In the Indian, orders were coming through thick and fast.
3 slated dragons, free range, 3 chicken to get the pounder, free range.
Free range chicken and chips was on the menu in the chippy.
All crispy and delicious.
Yeah, I'll have one, yeah.
Good on you.
And I was there to push it as hard as I could.
How long on the chicken here?
50 minutes.
Sorry.
There were 2 days left of Chicken Out Week. I'd smoothed things over with Deputy Manager Martin at Tesco, and now he was going to let me see some sales figures.
I shan't bother anyone. If someone went through the till 10 minutes ago, will you see that in your office? Really? That's exciting.
There seemed to be a decent dent in the free-range section of the chill cabinet.
That's great.
And I couldn't wait to see how this translated into actual sales.
Wow, it's great coming through here.
Martin agreed to show me the sales figures for that very day.
Whole free range?
Whole free range chicken. So that's what we sold last Thursday, 4 singles.
Right.
And so far today, that's what we sold so far today.
2.5 cases compared to 4 singles
last week. So
12 free-range chickens had already been sold compared to only 4 on the same day the previous week. And it was only tea time.
Is that very unusual? I mean, is that definitely an effect?
Yes. Yeah, it is unusual. Really? I can only put it down to one thing, and that's the campaign.
And what about the actual standard?
So it's about 50% less sales this week
Your
than last week.
standard chicken sales have halved?
Yeah, and also we're reducing that product because we're not selling so many of it.
I feel really guilty sitting next to you looking at your sales figures that you're having to take the line off the shelf. But of course, that's what I'm trying to achieve.
Sure.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's uplifting because it's been a tougher week in many respects. But that's exciting to see.
Yeah.
It was definitely a boost, even though it was clear that standard chicken sales were still outstripping free range. But I'd patched things up with Martin, and I was going to make the most of it.
Thanks, Martin. Cheers. Friday and Saturday are to come. They're the 2 biggest shopping days. There's plenty of free range on the shelf. The word is out, the buzz is around. Maybe what I need to do is come back here on Friday, spend the whole day glued to the chill cabinet.
I was still a long way off getting free-range chicken sales anywhere near my 50% target. And I had just 48 hours to turn it around.
Or should we talk through it again?
After 6 months of pressing the major supermarkets to improve their chicken welfare, Morrison's, Summerfield and Asda had all refused to give me an on-camera interview. Tesco, the biggest of them all, had kept me guessing all summer. Then I got an email knocking the whole thing on the head.
Unfucking believable. We may be the biggest supermarket in Britain, but we do not care enough about poultry welfare to put someone up for an interview.
But I did get a meeting with Waitrose, who reckon they were already ahead of the competition on chicken welfare. But were they ready to go all the way?
At the moment you say you're 50% free range on fresh poultry, surely 100% free range has to be a feasible goal for Waitrose.
Ultimately, yes, that's clearly the direction we are heading in. Will we be there within the next 12 months? I sincerely doubt it. Because
even Waitrose were reluctant to go all out free range until their customers demanded it.
If they make the choices to move free range, then that's where we will be.
With the supermarkets unwilling to move on their own, I felt more than ever the significance of my campaign in Axminster. I was hoping to prove that chicken welfare did matter to shoppers. It was the last day of Chicken Out Week, and I was back in Tesco, doing all I could to influence the sales figures.
Hang on. If it's plain breasts you're after, they do free-range breasts here. Okay. Every time you go shopping, what you buy is a vote. You can't be persuaded to go for free range today.
No, I just want a break, that's all I want.
But they do free range breasts.
And then I saw something I wished I hadn't. Hayley from Millway going straight for the 2 for a £5 bird.
Hayley, I am going to look at you like that. Of course I'm going to look at you like that after everything we've been through.
Yes, and I agree with it. But this is all I can afford at the moment.
I'd like to show you one thing, Hayley. That bird has had its hocks cut off.
I didn't notice that actually. I've missed that one, I think.
It's got hockburn.
Hayley knew all about hockburns, painful lesions caused by birds sitting in a litter of their own feces.
Hockburns.
Yeah, but I don't like
hocks cut off, hockburns. I wish I'd left 10 minutes ago and then I wouldn't have seen you in here.
I can know your ear.
Back to reality. Mums like Hayley, tough budgets, kids to feed, 2 for a £5. What are you going to do? That's enough for me.
I'd done all I could. Tonight the town's chicken sales would be counted, and tomorrow we'd find out if Axminster had become Britain's first free-range town.
Oyez! Welcome to Chicken Stock in the town square of Axminster.
Saturday morning, and my chicken stock festival in the square marks the end of Chicken Out Week.
Would you like some of our chicken liver pate?
I'd soon be announcing the final results to the town. The River Cottage chefs had prepared various chickeny delights using free-range birds from my experimental farm. And my friends from the takeaways also brought along their own free-range offerings. Anne's chicken sold so well over the week that she decided to make Lemon Place a free-range chippy from now on. And the Millway gang had also come to a decision about the future of the chickens on the allotment.
We'd love to keep the chickens on and get some more meat birds in, not get so attached this time.
But what everyone, including me, was waiting to find out was had we hit our target of 50% free-range chicken sales. I had the envelope. It was time for me to announce the results of Chicken Out Week.
I hope it's good news, because I'm going to look like a bit of a twat if I stand up there and say Axminster hasn't sold any free-range chickens. Hi there, are we on? We've added together all the numbers of all the chickens sold this week. 493 chickens. And now I have to open an envelope. Wow. Of those 493 chickens, 294 of them were free range, which means that 60% of whole fresh chickens sold in Axminster were free range. Hooray! Can I, in good faith, say that Axminster is Britain's first free range town? That's very good of you to cheer. But the honest truth is that I don't think I can. We excluded from our campaign all the ready meals, all the breaded chicken that they sell in the supermarkets. But we've made a start. We may not be there yet, but we can get there. And in a year or two from now, we can seriously shift the statistics, not just for one town in 1 week, but for the entire nation, because free range is fairer. Let's get the chickens out, let's go free range, and let's take care of the birds that feed us. Thank you, and thank you for coming. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Since my campaign began, 3 of the major supermarkets have made a commitment to improve conditions for the chickens they sell. Sainsbury's has promised to upgrade all their standard birds to the RSPCA Freedom Food system. The birds are still raised indoors, but they're a slower growing breed, have more space, natural light, perches and pecking objects to make life more interesting. Sainsbury's have also piloted my in-store video experiment, so customers can see for themselves the lives of the birds they're about to choose.
Hi there, I'm Hugh. Hi, I'm Bob.
And I finally got a meeting with the co-op. They too have committed to a higher welfare system for their standard birds, but I still had a problem with their labelling.
Your blue sky on an indoor reared bird, I think is subliminally a little bit misleading.
I think you're right. We've actually identified that ourselves.
And they've invited me to help them devise new, clearer labels.
Yeah, I'll happily do that. Cheers.
Now the plight of our chickens is rightfully on the political agenda.
We're happy to sign up for that.
I'm particularly excited that you've chosen to make that part of your policy as well.
I hope the Minister will support the chef Hugh Whittingstall and his Chicken Out campaign, which will have potentially a huge effect on producers and consumers alike.
It's a start, but there's a long way to go. I still believe that every chicken deserves the right to a life outdoors. And if you share that belief, the only way to make things change is to make sure you never settle for anything less than free range.
So, will you be making the change to free-range chicken? Join in the debate at channel4.com/food. And what happens when you eat nothing but burgers for a whole month? Morgan Spurlock overindulges in Super Size Me tomorrow at 10. Next on 4, we meet Barry Humphries, the man inside the original Desperate Housewife, Dame Edna.